You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Jeremy, Cliff, Dylan, Slim, Seth, we'll get to all of you. Mr. Dent's going to be with us till 20 after this 5-minute segment and the next 12-minute segment. Then I will get into some of the other economic news, some of the other world news I've not hit on yet. But going back to the phone calls, Jeremy in Colorado, you're on the air with our guest. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Harry. I was going to ask about student loans and the potential of using precious metals to offset the accelerating effects when the time comes to, I don't know, I anticipate the death of the dollar as a world reserve status. I anticipate that as inevitable. And I'm wondering if it would be a good way to negate some student loan debt for students out there who,
Well, I've got another question, but I want to answer yours. What about Obama saying they're going to give people free college, but then if you actually read the fine print, you just pay for it all in the second half? I mean, we're in such debt, and they're like, free, you'll get everything free. This is insane. But what about, his question about student loans and, I guess keeping gold, hoping later it goes up in value so you can then pay off your loans?
Well, first of all, the student loan thing is a bubble. Now there's more of that than credit cards. It's because education costs are in a bubble, and people who don't already have rich parents can't afford to get into college anymore without getting heavily in debt. So that's a terrible thing for the future. Gold is not the solution. This is one of the things we have warned and we've been right about. We argue with Peter Schiff, people who agree with us about the debt and the stimulus, being artificial and not sustainable. Gold is an inflation hedge. In the 70s, it was a great hedge. Gold does not like deflation. When bubbles burst, money gets destroyed. Wealth suddenly disappears when stocks are worth, 4,000 on the Dow one day and 20,000, previous. Debts, half of the private debt in this country, like in the Great Depression, are going to be written off. That is money that was created out of thin air by banks, disappear. The central banks have created money that's going to disappear at some point. And
by the way, Harry, I don't disagree with you overall, but I bought most of my gold at 300 to 500 an ounce, and I'm still holding it whether it goes up or down as an emergency backup. I don't think it should be more than 10% of what people do.
A small amount, especially because in certain times, and I'd rather have silver coins than gold, frankly, more tradable.
Oh, yeah, I've got more silver than I've got gold, but just expanding on that, I mean, Schiff is, right in line with your predictions. He's made a lot of the similar predictions have been right. I'm seeing long-term, though, there's so much volatility. I don't think we can say either way. You may disagree with that, but just honing in on gold here for just a moment, though, even though the Chinese and others are hoarding it, you just still think it's going to be going down? Because even though we've seen other commodities plunging, gold's actually gone up some, right?
No. Gold was at 1934 and it recently got to 1150. It's gone down as much as iron ore, not quite as much as oil. Oil's always.
Well, I know it's been going down overall the last few years, but it had been bouncing up a little bit.
It's bounced the last couple of months. Well, oil's bouncing right now. Not going to last. We've been predicting gold would bounce maybe up to about 13, 14, maybe even 1400, but I think it's going down. We've got a number of commodity charts on our book, and it shows when you trade sideways after a major surge for a number of years, it's oil and gold and silver and copper, and then break down below that, then you're dead. I mean, we told when oil broke 15.25, it was over. When oil broke 80, it's over for a long time. So gold, the last time it peaked, and silver was with the commodity cycle back in 1980. Well, commodity cycles have peaked again, so we've been warning. Gold's going to go down more than up, and it is the best protection in an inflationary season like the 70s. It is not the best protection in a deflationary debt deleveraging season like the 30s. And that is where I have differed with Peter Schiff, and he's been wrong and I've been right. Gold keeps going down. He keeps saying it's going to go to 5,000 to 10,000. I don't think it gets above 1,500.
All right, Harry, stay there. Thank you, caller. That was a good question. Cliff and others, we're going to go right to you after this break. Cliff's listening in Texas on 92.1 FM. Maybe we can get the call letters of that station. Stay with us. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO estrogen mimickers and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
I know you deceived me, now here's a surprise. I know that you have, cause there's magic in my
Harry Dent's with us for 12 more minutes. Let's get to as many of your calls as possible. Then Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs is in studio with us to break down what's really happening in Russia. Now, here's a story from 3 months ago, back in October. Russia, or I guess more than 3 months ago, 5 months ago, Russia deploying tactical nuclear arms in Crimea. NATO's tactical nuclear weapons must go, being moved in up against Russia. Does Russia think their new nuclear weapons could win a war? Forbes. No longer unthinkable. Should U.S. ready for limited nuclear war? Breaking out of defense. Russia has threatened nuclear attack, says Ukraine defense minister. Newsweek. Well, we saw an explosion that looks like a nuke and damaged houses 15 miles away. I'm not saying it's not a chemical plant, but it's not getting a lot of attention in Ukraine, and it looks bad. And I've grown up in Texas and seen chemical plants blow up, and they have multiple explosions afterwards that are just as big or bigger. So this does not look like anything I've ever seen but a nuke. That doesn't mean that it was a nuke, but it's okay to ask that question because we're not getting the truth out of Russia. That's coming up. Right now, Cliff, thanks for holding. You're listening on 90.1 in Austin. Go ahead, Cliff. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Hey, glad I got you. Hey, have you ever heard of the Shemitah by Jonathan Cahn.
You know, my audio is breaking up a little bit from you. Maybe you're clear to Dent, but I can't really understand you. Have I ever heard of what?
The Shemitah. It's a book by Jonathan Cahn.
No, I haven't. Tell us about it.
Well, he gives the aspect of everything that's been happening in our world. God has allowed it to happen because we haven't been following his ways. So I would suggest that you get the book because it says a lot about our country in it and what's going to happen. And this is only part of what's been going on as far as God allowed the World Trade Center to be brought down because of our arrogance.
Well, I do think that great wealth creates great decadence and arrogance, and then corruption sets in. And I am a Christian. One of my biggest problems is the establishment churches are telling people not to be politically involved. And so America's moral compass seems to be broken. Let me get Mr. Dent's take on that.
Yeah, no, I just find the same thing. I don't comment on religion because you know, you turn off people or not. But I see the same thing. When things get this extreme in wealth and stuff, everything gets corrupted by the special interests. A small group of people have so much power at every level in religion and politics and business that it cannot be any other way. That's why we have cycles. You know, God, the universe, natural systems never go too far in one direction without resetting and going the other direction. We can't go up forever without getting way out of balance, and we can't go down. And when things go up, people think they'll go up forever, and that's why I talk to people. I prove to them otherwise. And when things go down, people think it'll go down forever. Neither is true. These ups and downs correct each other. That's why capitalism works better than top-down planning.
I just had the crew pop in my head. We're actually going to be interviewing on air next month the author of the book that the caller just raised. So thank you, caller, for calling in with that information. Now, before we go any further with our guest, and by the way, that book is, he's also written the book, The Harbinger. Again, if you're a radio listener, it sounds like I'm bumbling around. It's because they're flashing stuff on screen in live time. So this is a transmission where we're very interactive and things are unfolding as we go along here. Let's go ahead now and go to another caller. Let's go ahead and talk to Dylan in Illinois. Dylan, you're on the air.
Hi. Yes, I noticed that the oil prices has not only affected Russia, but affected China's real estate prices to go down and causing slow growth in their economy in the last 4 months. And it's affected Texas housing boom, and retail stores are closing and malls are closing. How do you know if a real estate crash is coming from China's biggest bubble?
Well, I mean, you know, Dent's been saying that China's going to be the big place to see the bubble probably first break. And I just saw the Chinese government come out and revise their numbers last week. I saw a lot of analysts say that clearly now China has crested and is starting to really accelerate a downward spiral. Can you elaborate on that, Harry?
Yeah, first of all, China has to be growing slower than they say because they never tell you the truth there, or commodity prices wouldn't be falling because China's the largest buyer of commodities to feed their export and industrial machine in the world now by far. So I mean, that's one thing. Yes, commodities going down and oil is good for the everyday person long term, but it is going to cause some huge disruptions. There's $6 trillion owed in U.S. dollars to banks and bondholders from emerging country companies who depend on commodity prices, and they're going to start defaulting. These frackers who invested $1 trillion, created 1 million jobs, like you say, especially in Texas, and a whole real estate boom that went much stronger than the last one there, that's going to implode because these guys are dead. They have to have over $80 to really make it long term, and under 55, they really start doing terrible. They're not going to reinvest when their wells run out. They're not going to be able to pay back their debts, and you got $500 billion there. So I actually see this oil collapse as a trigger to the next worldwide debt crisis. We have way more debt than anybody knows. So all it takes is a trigger, just like the subprime crisis. It wasn't the whole crisis last time. It was the trigger that got the markets to start thinking about debt and worrying about debt. And the more you look around and worry about debt, you say, holy smokes, we got more debt than anybody knows, and the whole thing comes down. So I think this is a very important trigger. I've been telling people, watch oil to finally bounce here. And boy, it's barely bouncing. And it really crashed.